Hey, I'm just going to briefly be going over how to remove your oil filter housing and change the gaskets in it. I've already started getting it disassembled. Had to take a bunch of stuff off to do the alternator, but I'll briefly go over how to get to this. So once you have your air intake off, you're going to want to remove this bolt right here on this pipe, and then remove this clamp that goes to your turbo resonator. So this little clamp, I already have the turbo resonator off, but it's held on by one little hex or torque screw. You're gonna want to remove that and pull this little bracket off, and then that will release this pipe, and you can pull it up. So I forgot to mention, this turbo resonator is held on by two little E10 bolts. There's one up here on the top side, on the lower section of it, and there's a second one on this underneath side. So you'll probably have to get them from opposite sides, but they're not too big of a deal to get out. So you get that out, and then the bottom section of the turbo resonator is held on by a it's just like a little clip. You'll see these little notches in here. You can get a flathead screwdriver and just kind of pop it out, and then work its way off. And once you get that clamp off, it'll just all kind of slide out. Notice I do have quite a bit of oil in the turbo resonator. That's most likely due to a bad PCV valve and all, but I have since done the probit catch can and all, and haven't noticed any more oil in the intake. You're gonna want to, let me try and get a good focus on it. You're gonna want to get a 17 mil socket and stick it on that big, it's not a nut, but stick it on there and twist it counterclockwise to remove the tension on the belt, and then you will be able to slip it off and get to these bolts on the oil filter housing. A little hole on this right side, you see I have an Allen key in there. You can just stick a drill bit or an Allen wrench in there to keep the pressure off the tensioner. Next thing you want to do, you want to unscrew this cap and let all your oil drain out. I left it overnight, and you can see all the oil's drained out. And then I went ahead and just drained my oil. I'm also doing an oil and filter change after this. Oops. But that'll hopefully keep from making too big of a mess as we pull it off, since most of the oil. So I will add, I went ahead and pulled the battery and battery tray out. It's just held on by two little screws down there. It's not too big of a deal to get out, but it gives you a little bit more access to get in here and just opens everything. This oil filter housing is held on by 4 Torx head nuts. I believe it's E10. I will say you are going to want to set up Torx head, set of Torx head wrenches or sockets. It'll make life a lot easier. But I'm just going to go ahead and remove these 4 bolts right here, and hopefully we'll have it off here soon. 2 little brackets you're going to want to disconnect. So the first one's up here on the top. It's also a Torx head. I just loosened both of these up and just pulling this up out of the way. There's also another one down here for your, I guess it's your AC lines, coolant lines or whatever. But you just want to disconnect that. I will note all 4 of these bolts that are holding the oil filter housing on, they're all the same size, so you don't have to worry about keeping track of which one goes where. Sensors as well, if you haven't already, just helps free everything out. I just kind of tucked them up here out of the way. So now that I've got these bolts off, we're gonna try and whip this off a little bit like that. And we're just gonna kind of fish it up and out of there. I have a catch can underneath it. Will leaked a little bit of oil. You will have some residual oil in there. and it'll make a little bit of a mess. But I'm gonna hit this with some parts cleaner and clean up both surfaces and get ready for new gaskets. The oil filter housing off. I was suspecting I was getting a leak right here in this midsection, and I mean, looking at it, it looks like it almost looks like we're missing some gasket or something right there. But I'm gonna get this taken apart. It's held together with some Torx head screws. Just gonna pop those off and get new gaskets put in. These are held on by T40 male Torx. So we've got our bolts off here. Now I'm just gonna kind of try to pry this guy apart with a flat screwdriver. And looking at it, it doesn't appear too bad, but looks like we're definitely getting some leakage. I got these gaskets out. This top one, or the mid gasket came out nice in one piece, came out real easy. Now this bottom one was a different story. It was real brittle, and I had to get in there with a razor knife and pliers and just pull it out in chunks because it had gotten real brittle and didn't want to come out. So we got that out, got it halfway cleaned up, and then we're gonna put it in. I got my gaskets installed and got our bolts snugged up. Just remember these are E10, so you don't have to go crazy torquing them down. I don't know the exact torque spec, but I just got them hand tight, and I think we're good here.